Good morning, Town of Ajax, and thank you for joining us for the Town of Ajax Presents Summer Safety with Ajax Fire. My name is Rachel Wraith. I'm the Manager of Corporate Communications for the Town of Ajax and your host for today's session. Today's event is live, interactive, educational, and fun, and is a great event for the entire family to enjoy. So if you're tuning in now, grab your loved ones, your family members, and we have a really exciting special planned for about the next 45 minutes to an hour. Shortly, I'll be joined by my colleagues in Ajax Fire, who will share timely safety tips right now because we're experiencing summer that'll include indoor and outdoor cooking, carbon monoxide detectors, as well as smoke alarms. And to finish it all off, we'll end with water safety, which today on a hot day is so important as we continue to enjoy this beautiful weather. Throughout the event, look out for clues from Sparky the Fire Dog. So you'll see a special pop-up that'll come up on screen, just like right now. And when you see that clue, you'll be able to complete Sparky's activity sheet. Now, if you haven't downloaded your activity sheet yet, you can do that right now by visiting ajax.ca/fire or ajax.ca/livestream, and you can instantly download your activity sheet. Follow along throughout the entire program, and you'll be able to complete the 8 clues. So be sure to watch for the pop-ups and use your activity sheet. All activity sheets will be accepted until August the 26th, and to submit yours, all you need to do is send it to firesafety@ajax.ca. And if you've missed a clue, not a problem. A live recording is going to be available immediately after our live session today. So you can rewind and look for the different clues if you've missed something. The whole idea is that you're going to learn something very important to help keep you and your family safe while at home. And I'd just like to give a special shout out to our local sponsors who have donated different prizes so that we're able to offer them to all participants who have entered. So you have the chance to win over $200 in prizes for this event. So be sure to complete your activity sheet and submit it for your chance to win. And I'd just like to give a special shout out to our sponsors right here in Ajax, local businesses, Costco, Canadian Tire, and Tim Hortons. So thank you so much for your support and to make this event happen today. So since we're all connecting virtually, we could experience some technical difficulties. So I'd just like to thank you in advance if we do, and please bear with us and just know that there's an entire team behind us making sure that we can come back online. So thanks in advance for your patience. And as always, our social media team is here to answer your questions and to send your questions directly to myself so that you can ask them during the live stream. So if you have a question for Ajax Fire, please ask it below in the comments section, and we'll be sure to get to as many as possible. If we're not able to answer your question live, our social media team will be answering them right in the chat feature. And if you're joining us on YouTube and not on Facebook, you can submit your questions in the comments section, or you can email them to us at corporate@ajax.ca. Also, fire services will be coming live to us from their headquarters in Ajax, located at Roslyn and Salem. So in the event that there is a call that comes in, again, please just bear with us and don't be alarmed if it does come up. So to get us started, I'd just like to introduce a special welcome message from Ajax Council. Community safety and fire safety is a huge priority for Ajax Council, and they just wanted to provide a reading to welcome all of the viewers today to our show. Councillor Dyes was unavailable, but she does send her best to the community. So let's just throw to that special message from Ajax Council.
Welcome everyone to Summer Safety with Ajax Fire.
And interactive, educational.
And fun and safety special.
For the entire family.
Don't forget to look out for clues.
To help answer questions from
Sparky the Fire Dog. Enjoy!
So what a fun message from Ajax Council, who's enjoying the summer and also really encouraging our community to stay safe. And I'd just like to thank all the community who's joined us right now live. I think we have about 20 people joining us right now. So please feel free to share this right now in your feeds to encourage more people to log on and see these important safety messages. I'd now like to introduce today's cast and bring in our colleagues from Ajax Fire. So first, I'd like to invite our prevention officer, Shelley Langer, who has joined us today. Hi, Shelley.
Hi, Rachel.
Shelley, it's so great to have you today. So you're a fire prevention inspector with Ajax Fire, and you really are an expert when it comes to fire safety and prevention. So we're very excited to have you here today.
Thanks very much, Rachel. It's my pleasure to be here, and I look forward to talking to everyone.
Excellent. And also joining us today is Greg DeMann, who is a fire inspection officer with the town of Ajax Fire Services. Thank you so much for joining us, Greg.
Thank you, Rachel. How are you today? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, and I'm doing great. And now I'm seeing online we have about 30 people that have joined us. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. And please be sure to download that activity sheet and to look for the pop-up clues throughout our event. So for this portion of the event, we will be doing a special video series where we are going to play 3 different videos. And following each video, we will do a Q&A with both Shelley and Greg. Shelley and Greg are both our fire experts here today and are very, very pleased to answer any questions you have regarding the content of the videos. So again, please ask your questions in the comments section below. So first, we'll get right into it, and this is all about cooking safety. So it's beautiful weather that we're experiencing now. Many of us are enjoying our backyards more frequently. It's really become an outdoor living space for many, especially during the pandemic. So it's very important that we are following proper safety when it comes to indoor and outdoor cooking. So let's go to our first video with Shelley coming to you live from a kitchen.
Whether you're the cook or the foodie in the house, you can remember these tips to ensure cooking is a safe experience. Always have a grown-up at the stove or barbecue whenever it's in use. Kids, stay at least 1 meter from the stove or barbecue, and keep your pets out of the way so they can stay safe too. Remember to keep a cooking lid nearby in case of a fire. This way you can slide the lid over the pan to smother the fire. Turn off the burner and let the pan cool. Summer is the season of barbecues, and where do barbecues and propane cylinders need to stay? Outside. They produce poisonous carbon monoxide. Adults, when you're finished barbecuing, turn off the gas valve first, then the burner controls so no gas is left in the connecting hose. Allow the barbecue to cool completely before closing the cover. Always keep your barbecues clean to avoid grease fires, and put them in an area that's far from wooden fences, walls, trees, shrubs. Kids, if you ever see a stove or barbecue on but there's no one there using it, alert your parent or guardian to come watch it. Now let's get cooking.
Oh, that video made me hungry. So thank you so much, Shelley, for sharing that video coming live from the kitchen and backyard. And I know many of us are really enjoying the warmer weather and being back in our backyards. So we're already getting quite a few questions coming through around cooking safety. So I'll just go to our first question. And this question is from Kim. And I'm going to direct this over to Greg. And Kim would like to know, is it okay to put salt or baking soda on a grease fire?
Good question, Kim. The safest thing to do to put out a fire in a pot or a pan on your stove is to use the lid. You always want to have your lid nearby, and you slide the lid over the pot or the pan to put the fire out. And that will quickly put the fire out as it smothers the fire and prevents any oxygen from getting to the fire. Baking soda may work, but you're putting yourself in danger trying to spread the baking soda over top of the pan. You could seriously injure yourself, and it could take a considerable amount of more time to put that fire out. So always have the lid and an oven mitt close by, and the safest way to do it is to use the lid.
Thanks so much, Greg. So important that we have the lids close by as well as oven mitts, just to make sure we have all the tools that we need to ensure that we're safe and that we're prepared. So thank you very much for answering that question. I've had another question already come through, and this one's coming from Zach. So I'd like to pass this one over to Shelly. Zach asks, what should you do if there's a fire in the microwave?
Okay, great question, Zach. So the first thing you should do is turn off the button to turn the microwave off, which will stop the fan. It's also very important that you don't open the microwave door because that will let air in, and fire likes air. Now, if the fire continues to go and you don't feel safe, get outside and call 911.
Very important. Thank you very much, Shelly, and a very important message that we're not to open up the microwave. So thank you for sharing that. I have one more question that's come in from Josiah, and I'd like to pass this one over to Greg. So Josiah asks, where should propane tanks be stored?
Good question. We always want to store our propane tanks either outside or in a detached shed. We never want to store the propane tank or our barbecue with the propane tank in the garage or a propane tank in the house. If there ever is a fire, the propane could contribute to the fire or the tank itself could rupture or explode. So we always want to keep those out of the house. We also never want to use the barbecue in the garage. When you're cooking with the barbecue, it can produce carbon monoxide, and that carbon monoxide could go from the garage into the house. So that's why we always want to make sure we're using our barbecue outside.
Thanks, Greg. And I think that's really important, especially as we're getting into the weekend and many people will be outside barbecuing. So everyone, please remember, store your propane tanks outside of your homes. So thanks so much for sharing those very important tips and information and answering those questions. And if you just watched that video, you would have noticed that we had 2 clues pop up as part of that video. So make sure you're rewatching it if you didn't catch them and that you can answer those 2 questions. We have, I'm just going to check to see if we have any more questions that have come through around backyard cooking or indoor cooking. And I think we are good to move on. So we will go to our next video, which talks all about smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors.
Kids, have you ever noticed those circular things stuck to your ceiling or small alarms plugged into the wall? Those are actually alarms that will tell you if there's carbon monoxide or smoke in your house. Carbon monoxide is an invisible, odorless gas that's created when certain appliances don't operate properly or are not being used correctly and can make you very sick. It can build up in your cottage, camper, boat cabin, RV, in your home, basically any enclosed space. If you hear your smoke alarm, you must get out of your house and go to your family meeting place, like a tree or the sidewalk outside your front yard. Your best chance of surviving is to have early warning from a smoke or CO alarm. You should test your alarms each month by pressing the button located on each one. Smoke and CO alarms don't last forever. Replace batteries twice a year and replace CO alarms every 7 years and smoke alarms every 10 years. If you have a loved one heading off to college or university and living off campus, please make sure you remind them to test their smoke and CO alarms. Even better, why not gift them with the new carbon monoxide and smoke alarms with batteries? Kids, ask your parents when the last time was when they changed the batteries in their carbon monoxide and smoke alarms. It's the simple things like maintaining your alarms that can save your life.
Excellent. That video is extremely informative, and I did notice a few pop-up clues that came up during the video. So please, if you were paying attention and got those clues down, make sure you're filling out your activity sheet. Shelly, there's some really great information in that video, especially as we're looking to back to school and many students actually returning to on-campus and off-campus living. So that's a great tip about sharing a smoke alarm or a carbon monoxide detector with people who are returning to school. A really great back to school gift. So we've having quite a few questions coming in. And again, I'd just like to remind everyone, if you are watching live, that you can ask your questions below in the comment section of our Facebook Live, as well as on YouTube. And you can also email us your questions at corporate@ajax.ca. And we'll be sure to get to as many questions as possible. So our first question around the alarms is coming in from Lisa. And I'm just going to direct this one over to Shelley. Lisa would like to know, I thought we needed a CO alarm in the basement. Is this true?
All right, great question, Lisa. So we are required to have working carbon monoxide alarms where people sleep. So if you have people that sleep in the basement, then yes, you need to have a working carbon monoxide alarm there. If you have all of the bedrooms upstairs, then you need to have a working carbon monoxide alarm in the hallway near the bedrooms. You can also have them on every level.
Excellent. And just a follow-up question to that, what's one thing that families could do today to ensure that their home is safe with smoke alarms and the carbon monoxide detectors? And I'll pass that question over to Greg.
Good question. The simplest thing is just to test your smoke alarms and your carbon monoxide alarm. So if everyone can go to all the smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms in their house, press the test button and listen for it to operate. If they hear it operate, they know it's working correctly. And if it doesn't operate, then you know there's something wrong with the smoke alarm, whether it be a battery or the power supply, or the smoke alarm itself is no longer working properly. And that will tell you that it needs to be replaced. So simple and easy thing to do today is to just go around and test your smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarm.
Thank you, Greg. And I think that's something that everyone could do right after we finish off our live today. Very important. And David just has a follow-up question to that I'd like to direct to Greg. And he would like to know, what if somebody has difficulty hearing the smoke alarm?
Yes, we get this question quite often, whether someone in the family might be a sound sleeper and not hear the smoke alarm activate at night, or whether family members are hearing impaired. There are a few different things that you can do to protect every member in the family. If you don't already have interconnected smoke alarms, meaning that all smoke alarms all over the house will operate at the same time when one of them activates, you can look at providing interconnected smoke alarms throughout the entire house, and even installing one in the bedroom, so that sound sleeper will have an alarm within their room that may help them wake up. Also, for anyone that may be hearing impaired, smoke alarms now can have strobe lights on them. So when the smoke alarm activates, the strobe light will flash, and that will notify someone who is hearing impaired that the alarm is activating. And for when they're sleeping, they can have something installed called a bed shaker, where the bed will vibrate and shake when the smoke alarm activates.
Thank you, Greg. Those are some very important accessibility features for smoke detectors and smoke alarms. And I'll just ask one final question, and I'll direct this to Shelley. Shelley, where can residents actually purchase smoke alarms and CO detectors?
So people can purchase smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms at any of the big box stores, as well as hardware stores throughout Ajax.
Thank you. And I think it's just important that we just emphasize how often we should be testing and replacing those alarms. So can I just pass that one over to Greg?
Yes. So we recommend testing your smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms every month. Smoke alarms and carbon monoxide, both of them don't last forever. So smoke alarms need to be replaced every 10 years. Carbon monoxide alarms are a little bit different. They need to be replaced every 7 to 10 years, but the manufacturer's specifications, or in their instructions, it will be clear as to whether they need to be replaced every 7 years or every 10 years. But on those schedules, at least every 10 years, both need to be replaced.
Thank you. I think that's very important, and that should always be top of mind. And you can set calendar reminders annually to check to do that. Just one final question, and this is from Regional Councillor Marilyn Crawford. How often should families be practicing their home escape plans? And I'll pass that one over to Shelley.
Well, it depends on the family, but it is proven that when we practice, we increase our times. And it also helps children to feel a little bit more confident and empowers them. So I recommend that you do a home escape plan at least once a year. But if you'd like to do them at special family holidays, like Family Day is a great day to do that. And it's very easy to do. You would draw a floor plan of your home, and then you would show 2 ways out of every room. You also have to pick a family meeting spot, and that's a place that's outside your front yard. So you could have a tree or the sidewalk. The key is that everyone you live with needs to know to go to the same spot, and that's where you would call 911 either from a cell phone, or one person would go to a trusted neighbor's home and use their phone.
Thank you. And I think that's a great activity that could be practiced before heading back to school. It could be something that can really help to practice as we're going back into more routines after the summer, and really good just to freshen that up every year with your family. So thank you so much. I think we are good. We're getting lots of questions coming in around smoke alarms as well as CO alarms. So thank you so much, everyone, and we'll answer as many as we can in the chat function. Now we'll just move to the final video in our series, and this is all about water safety, which we know is so important right now with the warmer weather and so many more people coming to our waterfront to experience the outdoors, getting some fresh air and exercise during COVID. And as well, we're spending a lot more time in our backyards, and many people have upgraded backyards with pools and are new to having a pool in the backyard. So it is really important that we take in all of this and water safety when it comes to spending time in and near water. So let's just go to our final video.
With its beautiful waterfront, Ajax is such a great place to go boating, canoeing, or kayaking. It's important that every time you go out onto the water, you wear a personal flotation device, known as a PFD. Water wings and inflatable tubes are not a substitute for an approved PFD. If you're going on a boat, you must have enough PFDs that fit everyone properly. And remember, they only work if you are wearing them. Even if you're not on a boat but near the water, whether it's a pool or lake, if you have young children, a PFD and close adult supervision are the best ways to ensure you're staying safe by the water. If you go swimming, make sure you swim with a buddy. Always let someone know when and where you're going for a swim. Finally, make sure to walk into bodies of water to test the depth before doing any diving or cannonballing, as some pools or lakes are too shallow to dive in. Let's enjoy the summer weather safely. Here you go, Sparky.
Oh, it's so great to see Sparky in the video and putting on his life jacket. And I saw our memorial pool in the background as well, which is open and can be booked for pre-booked swims and public swims. So you know, it's really hot out. We're experiencing the warm weather, so our water safety is so important. So we're getting a lot of questions around this. And actually, I'm going to just kick this off. So Carly has a question. Today and recently, we have been experiencing hot and humid weather. Does Ajax Fire have any tips on how residents can stay safe during a heat wave? So I'm going to start this off with Greg and see if Greg can answer this one. And then Shelley, if you have anything to add after Greg finishes.
Yeah. Basically, we just want to do our best to try to stay cool and watch our activities and what time of day we are doing those activities. So make sure we always have water available and we're drinking lots of water to stay hydrated. Outdoor activities, and especially strenuous activities, try not to do them in the afternoon when it feels the warmest. Keep those to the evening or in the mornings. And making sure we're wearing light clothing to help keep us cool and staying very hydrated throughout the day.
Shelley, anything else to add?
Sure. I'd like to talk a little bit about pet safety in the extreme heat as well. So it's important, obviously, that our pets are hydrated. And once again, just like Greg said, maybe take their walks early in the morning or later in the evening. If you do have to walk your pet through the day, just make sure that the asphalt isn't too hot for their paws.
It's a really good point about our furry friend Shelley and the importance of making sure they're hydrated and comfortable during this hot weather. And always nice to bring them in for a little cool air conditioning break. So we're getting a lot of questions around water safety, so it must be top of mind for everyone with today's hot weather. So this question's for Shelley, and it's from Nadia. She asks, what's the difference between a life jacket and a PFD?
Okay, great question, Nadia. So a life jacket is typically the keyhole not devices, but the life jackets that go over your head, and they come in two sizes. It's for people who are 40 pounds and under, and then for people who are over 40 pounds. A PFD come in all sorts of different sizes, and they typically have a buckle at the front. The most important thing is we want to be wearing them. So don't just have them in the boat. Make sure you're wearing them when you're on a water vessel.
Very important. I definitely have noticed when people are out in boats and stuff, they're not actually wearing the life jacket. So it's so important that you have it on and that it can do its job if it needs to. Also, Shelley, can we just talk about a lot of the like floaties and kind of pool toys? Now, those aren't a life preserver, correct?
That's right. Actually, the key word that you used, they're toys. So they're for entertainment, but they're not a proper life-saving device.
Thank you for clarifying that. Our next question I'm going to direct over to Greg, and this is from Leah. So Leah asks, I have a canoe that I like to paddle just along the shore. The water is very shallow, so do I still need to wear a PFD?
Good question, Leah. And yes, you should still wear your PFD when you're in your canoe, even if it is in shallow water. As Shelley mentioned earlier, the only way it'll work is if you're wearing it. And even if you're in shallow water, you never know when the water current or the wind may cause you to drift into deeper water. And if something does happen, you may not be able to reach or get to that PFD if you don't have it on. So always wear your PFD whenever you're in any boat or by a body of water, just to make sure, even if it is shallow water.
Thank you. So again, if you have any questions or comments about any of the different videos and different segments that we've been talking about today, everything from cooking safety to alarms to water safety, please ask in the comments section below. And we still have time for a few more questions. But we are going to move to the next portion of our event today. And if we do have more questions that come in, we will ask them before we finish off today. So we get a lot of questions on our social media feeds, and I'm sure Ajax Fire does too, just about how Ajax Fire Services works. So I'm just going to pass it over to Shelley and Greg, who are going to give just a brief overview about Ajax Fire Services.
All right, that's great. So Ajax Fire and Emergency Services is a full-time fire department. We have 3 fire stations. Our headquarters is located on Salem Road. Station 1 is on Westney Road, and Station 2 is on Monarch Avenue. Now we have 6 distinct divisions: administration, communications, emergency planning, fire prevention, fire suppression, and training. Our on-duty suppression and communication crews work rotating shifts in order to have 24-hour coverage, and the other divisions work normal business hours Monday to Friday, as well as on-call duties. So I'll pass it over to Greg to talk about the first 3 divisions.
Thanks, Shelley. So our first division is our administration division, and they look after the daily overall management of the fire service. Our administration team consists of one fire chief. We have 2 deputy fire chiefs, 1 administrative coordinator, and 4 administrative assistants. Our next division is our communications division, and they are the staff members who answer the 911 and other emergency calls and will dispatch our fire trucks to these emergency responses. So they will gather all the information about the emergency and then tell our firefighters and dispatch them to the call, letting them know what the emergency incident is and where they have to respond to. They'll also provide assistance to the firefighters while they're on scene as they talk back and forth over radio. And our alarm room operators here in Ajax dispatch the fire trucks for Ajax Fire Services and Pickering Fire Services as well. Our next division is our emergency planning, and our emergency planning relates to large-scale emergency events that could affect a broader area within the town. So the town of Ajax has plans already in place to manage these large emergency situations. Various staff members from different departments within the town have specific roles that they have to play during these emergency situations. And on a regular basis, they will meet and go over these plans, as well as have drills on different scenarios so they can practice, so they're well prepared in case something does happen in an actual emergency. The photo that you see on your screen is a picture of our emergency operations center. So that's where these staff members will respond to in our headquarters and manage that emergency scene. The next division that we have is our training division. So our training division consists of 1 chief training officer and 1 training officer. When we have new firefighters hired as recruits in Ajax Fire, they undergo a 16-week training program before they are assigned to a platoon and begin to respond to emergencies. Then once firefighters are working throughout their entire career, they continue to train and have to meet training requirements. So it's our training division that coordinates and helps to deliver all of this training for the new recruits and the firefighters throughout their career. Shelley, I'll turn it back to you to cover the next 2 divisions within Ajax Fire.
Hey, that's great. So first of all, I'd like to talk about public education. So we provide public education to public schools. We also put out social media tweets, and we teach fire and life safety through contests. We had lots of contests last year. Our No Dragons for Tea, Chalk It Up for Safety, and we had a scavenger hunt for last year's Fire Prevention Week. Now, we also have several pub ed programs where we work with our suppression teams as well. We have Get Real Ajax, we have the Learn Not to Burn program, and we have TAP-C, which is the arson prevention program for children. When it's not a pandemic, our suppression firefighters go to all of the schools in Ajax to teach the Learn Not to Burn program for kindergarten to grade 2, and then our inspectors teach the grade 3 hazard house presentation. So this year with the pandemic, we had to modify our programs, but we were able to teach virtually through Google Meets and Zoom. We were very busy this past spring, booked solid from February to June, and we also continued to have other public education activities such as presentations for seniors and scouts and other community groups too. So now I'll talk about our next part for fire prevention. And we have a team of fire inspectors who are very busy keeping our community safe, making sure buildings are safe. Our fire inspectors conduct inspections under the fire code. They review plans of new structures, provide approvals for site plans. They inspect vulnerable occupancies, so group homes and care and treatment facilities. They respond to complaints. They assist with our smoke alarm and CO alarm programs. They go to court if needed under the Fire Protection and Prevention Act, or FPPA, and they also conduct fire inspections. So Greg, it's back to you for the last part.
Thanks, Shelley. Our last division is our suppression division. So This is the firefighters that you would see in the fire trucks out in the community, and who are the ones who are responding to our emergency calls. In addition to fighting fires, they also respond to motor vehicle collisions, emergency medical responses, water or ice rescues, hazardous material spills, and gas leaks, just to name a few. They're also completing some of our community outreach programs that Shelley mentioned, like our Get Real Ajax program and our Learn Not to Burn program. And while they're not responding to emergency incidents, they're at our fire station and maintaining the fire station. They maintain our trucks and the equipment that they have to use on a regular basis, and delivering fire safety education programs and completing that training that they have to do to maintain their currency. That's a brief overview of all the different divisions within Ajax Fire and Emergency Services. So Rachel, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. And thank you so much, Greg and Shelley, for that very informative overview. I learned a lot in that presentation, and I hope many of our viewers have as well. So we have had a few more questions come in, but we just have time for one more. So I'm just going to pass this one over to Shelley, and then Greg, if you have any final thoughts to add to it, please feel free. So Shelley, you mentioned a few programs that are coming up. I know you mentioned the Fire Prevention Week. So can you just share what other fire prevention programs and opportunities residents will have the opportunity to participate in between now and the end of the year?
So we do have Fire Prevention Week, which is the first week of October, and the NFPA comes up with a theme every year. This year's theme is the sounds of safety. So we will be doing some fun activities for that. We will be continuing with our school presentations. It will probably be virtual again, but we do look forward to, as things open up, that we'll be able to get out and meet with people in person. We are having our Get Real Ajax campaign happening this fall as well, and so keep an eye open for our firefighters. We will, be having some notification when that happens, and although this will be next year, we're really hoping that we'll be able to have our family safety event in the summertime in June, or I guess late spring, early summer.
Thanks so much. Lots of great programming, very informative and educational programming coming our way before the end of the year. So thank you so much for that. Greg, did you have anything else to add on there?
No, I think Shelley covered everything that we've got coming up, and we just hope we're able to get back out into the community again really soon and deliver our programs face-to-face instead of virtually. So hopefully that can happen very soon.
Thank you. And for residents who are looking for more information about Ajax Fire, Shelley, where can they find great information and resources?
So you could certainly go on the town page, the website, and check out our section on Ajax Fire. We do have a new Twitter account, as you mentioned earlier, and we are putting all sorts of fire and life safety tweets up. And we'd love for you to follow us. And again, if you would like to contact us, we do presentations at this time virtually. But like I said, we've done foster parents groups, seniors groups. So we have presentations, and we are really happy to engage with the community. And if you have questions, we're more than happy to answer for you. We're here to help. And so feel free to give us a call, and we'll do what we can to help to keep you safe.
Great. Thank you so much, Shelley, for your time today and for the informative presentation and for those great videos and answering those questions.
Thank you very much, Rachel, for having us. And I do want to just remind everyone, please, if you haven't tested your smoke and CO alarms, please do that today. If you have time to later this week or on the weekend, maybe do a run through of your home escape plan. And thanks again to our sponsors that provided the gift cards. We will be picking 3 random clue sheets that have been filled out correctly, and we'll certainly let those people know after the contest closes after the 26th. So thanks very much, Rachel.
And Greg, thank you so much for your time today and for your expertise and walking us through the presentation and answering all those questions. The community definitely appreciates it, and we continue to get more questions coming in.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you for hosting. And I'd just like to thank everyone that joined us to watch today's event.
Great. Have a great day. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for today's presentation. It was very informative. And again, if you haven't already, please download your activity sheet. Make sure you fill out the 8 clues. And if you need to replay and rewind the video, a live recording will be available as soon as we wrap up today. So thanks again so much for joining us. We hope that you have a very safe and enjoyable rest of your summer. There's lots of great information and tips and information that was shared today. So please share this with your friends. You can share this on your Facebook accounts, on your social media accounts. This is really great information for us to share as a community. And just as we're wrapping up here, we are going to end with just a special virtual tour of the Ajax Fire Headquarters. So as Shelley and Greg mentioned, we do typically have tours of our fire hall, and we definitely love to welcome the community there. But over COVID, that just hasn't been possible. So we are really excited to just put together this great tour of our Fire HQ just to end this all off. So again, thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. We hope that you'll replay this program, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our